We hold these truths to be self-evident. Observing objective reality is in the fabric of our founding framework and carries the same relevance today as 246 years ago. While Matt Walsh and others have asked, what is a woman? People ridicule its absurdity, whether because it's rhetorical, or to distance from what they think is phobic. There's only one truth, and the people divide based on whether they accept it. What a woman is was always exclusive, never elusive. Cave paintings in Indonesia, France, Spain depicted men and women as distinctly different, meaning the truth was self-evident 32,000 years ago. We also know the truth is self-evident because no one asks what a man is. No one is calling men made-up words to overlook self-deception and delusional belief. Meanwhile, women have their language and bodily autonomy distorted, erased, and ignored. Instead of women, they're called birthing parents or uterus. In some cases, when lesbians decline to have sex with what is in reality a man, the one who championed no means no makes them bigots. Aside from the Declaration of Independence, Jefferson also wrote about the cruel war against human nature. No single event or idea gave rise to the war that Jefferson referenced. However, we know those events and ideas came from moral complacency, ignorance, and negligence. Although today's war is different, the same toxins infect our society, schools, and government. Most women explain they had to learn how to protect themselves from men, and because of that, struggle to trust most of them. Women cannot and should not be their children's sole protectors or constantly defend themselves. Men and women are one another's counterparts and must rebuild trust, safeguard, and protect one another and our children. Strong men have many good virtues that complement and empower the women around them. What we can learn from strong men are many. We don't pretend to be something that we are not. We have prudence and example security by remaining grounded in ourselves rather than pacifying other people for applause. We invest in our children, teaching them the virtue of integrity by honoring our word and placing value on their mothers. We extend grace from our humility, taking responsibility for what we do, but also what we should have done and chose not to. Failing to uphold some of these virtues has let women and children down. We've left them alone to defend themselves against schools, politicians, social media, and even sometimes us. Many men are trying to change that, but it still isn't enough. We must actively learn and fight against schools that invest money in programs, normalizing boys and girls' spaces, whether that's bathrooms, locker rooms, or sports programs. We need to hold teachers accountable that use their students as emotional support animals, and praise the teachers who encourage academic success and self-sufficiency. We must be aware and watchful of social media influencers who groom children to immediately break contact with embarrassed parents and accept things without question. The same influencers encourage children to hide their activities and run away from home if a parent or there is questioned. Finally, we must be critical of politicians who ignore facts about male rapists assigned to women's prisons. Those politicians ignore the continued rape occurring inside those prisons or act to limit the victim's ability to speak out against their aggressors. Learn what's happening, stand beside women, protect one another's children. People know what a man and woman are because those truths are self-evident. It's time we invest in ourselves, our families, our children, and our community. So in closing, I want to leave a few questions out there for you to ponder. If strength comes from what someone endures, does weakness come from what you ignore? Are you enduring or ignoring reality? Are you confident that others would agree with your answer? How about your spouse, your child, your student? Would they agree? And if not, why? Again, thank you.
Thank you.